May profits be upon you. Welcome to another midweek Forex forecast. Now, we're just really going over uh, the forecast that I laid out this past weekend and what we're looking like so far, what the status of that forecast is. Do we need to make adjustments? The market's doing something different, I'll go over what we're looking like for the rest of the week. Now, let's begin with the Dixie. Now, the first thing I said in the forecast last week, I said, I believe this market is going to continue to go higher. All right. But there's going to be some short term bearishness. All right. Do you remember that? I think you do. All right. So far, all we've seen is some bearishness. Now, let's take a look at the daily time frame. No sense in going to the weekly uh, midweek. Right. All right. So this was Monday's candle, bearish. All right. We pull back up, we come back down, we take the close below the low. That usually means that the next candle is probably going to take that low. It continued lower. All right. And we close well below that low. All right. Fine. But we see a wick of respect here. And we see that we are also running into an area of demand. Right. And I pointed out this demand in the forecast. And I said there's a good chance that we may find some support here for higher prices. All right. But so far, we haven't gotten that reaction yet, but we got a hint of it with this wick. All right. That wick of respect. Now, maybe we get a short range candle tomorrow. Maybe we get one going either direction. But we have PMI data coming out tomorrow, so that's going to be very important. Okay, that'll come for not just the U.S. markets, but I think the pound as well. I'd have to look at the calendar because I can't remember right off the top of my head. But this area of fair value is where I thought that we would start to find some support. And so far, we haven't seen it yet. But as long as this low is intact, that's why I got that dotted line there. All right, this line here. As long as that low is intact, uh, I'd be thinking bullishly. I would be thinking bullishly. As soon as we see a close beyond that low, where price gets below it, I'll be looking for price to turn around, just to continue down. All right, but we need to see a break and close on a daily basis, on a daily time frame basis. Okay, and that's when I would think that we're going to be aiming for these lows here. Okay, so right now, because we have nothing else, there's no reason to think bullishly. We are bearish. And if we go to the 4 hour, where would I be thinking bullish? All right. Well, we have this this candle here, right? That high, that is a swing high, but it's an intermediate swing high. It's an internal swing high, but it is an eye. It is a high. Sorry, that there is liquidity above. All right, we get if price starts to reach up towards that liquidity and gets a close above it, then this naturally becomes our area of demand, and you would look for price to come back to it and continue higher. All right, but we got to let this play out. All right, because again, price could continue down and start taking this low out and aim towards that low. Once we get a daily closure below that, then I'm thinking that we are going to be bearish all the way. Right now, there's no reason to think bullishly until we see a market structure shift to the upside. Right here, I pull back to it, and then we'll see how it plays out from there. Right. If we go to the euro, we're just the opposite on the euro. I mentioned in the forecast that would for me would be a market structure shift to the upside, a bullish market structure shift. So if price takes out that high, then I'm going to be thinking that price is going to continue higher. All right. But I was looking for this low to be closed below, and that never happened. All right, I was wondering if I was thinking that price was going to continue lower if the dollar continued higher, but there was going to be the strong possibility of short term bearishness in the dollar. That that's all we've seen so far, going Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So right now, there's no reason to think anything bearish with this market. No reason in the world in the euro. We're making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and it looks like we're on our way to completing this higher low. All right, looks like it's forming right now. So yeah, uh, I'd be looking for a fill of the fair value gaps or the formation of fair value gaps. All right, we have this is the newest candle for Thursday. Maybe it might form a bullish fair value gap here. Maybe, this is something to watch out for. If we go to the 4 hour, uh, I would be looking for this area right here. There's uh, fair value gaps here, here, and here, and there is an intersecting high here. So I do like this one right there. Yes, I do like this one here as a fair value gap that could possibly be used for higher pricing. So this is something I'm going to watch. That's all. I'm going to watch for price to pull back to it and see how it reacts. I like this one because it has the confluence of the high here that intersects that fair value gap. So that's looking pretty good. Okay, but I told you I did mention that this high uh, on the daily, I had that as a liquidity target, and it went right for it, right? Didn't it? That was on Monday. Pow! Then Tuesday came and we closed past it. That's a very bullish indication that we're going for higher prices. With the pound, it never pulled back, never came to the draw, never came to these dotted lines, which is the weekly fair value gap. It never came here, never came back. It just continued higher from here. I was looking at this high. I was looking at these as my at this particular one here as my target for liquidity. I said if once price gives a close above that, then we're going to be thinking bullishly from that point on. We're really at the top of the high here, of the high of the range, right? And down here, this was the kind of like a fake out of this range, and price pulled back in. That's a bullish indication, all right. And I should have seen that coming. And I only mentioned that the possibility of it happening because I was hoping that price would give us a pullback into this area of fair value here. Uh, so what are we looking at? There's no reason to think bearishly. There's no reason to think sells until we see a break of market structure to the downside. And from this point, you'll be looking at the weekly, I mean, the 4 hour. I keep saying that. All right. And I wouldn't be thinking bearishly really until we take out this low here. All right. Because this is the low before the break of market structure to the upside. As prices pull back down, I'm looking for some support to be established before it moves higher. If price takes out that low here, we close below that low on a daily basis, that's when I'll start thinking that price will pull back and we can start looking for sells. Got it? All right. In the Aussie dollar, it's a mess. It's a mess. All right. On a daily basis, we're moving sideways. And that's really all I have to say about it. This isn't a market. This isn't a market I want to play in. If we go to the New Zealand dollar, this one is moving sideways. Look at it. These are daily candles. This was your Friday candle. It's done this. It's done this. It's done this. Nothing. Nothing. All right. Just a big fat nothing burger. Okay. What would I like to see? I'd like to see price sweep these lows tap into a fresh area of a fair value area and offer fair value so that price could continue higher. This makes sense to me because this is an area of fair value here. Okay, that is the I would like to see that play out. That's the only way I would want to get involved with, because I think this is going to go higher, and I think it's going to go higher from here. I think this is a higher probability trade. Yes, price can take this high and head towards these highs and this liquidity pool up here. Yeah, it certainly could, but I'm not really interested in taking these highs. All right, so I'd much rather see a sweep of liquidity first before the highs are taken. But you can do whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? The CAD, what is this? The CAD Canadian dollar. This one actually did do something. It came down. The dotted lines are the weekly fair value gap, and the blue line is a daily fair value gap. And price came down to that blue line, and it's looking pretty doggone good. I like the way that price came down, found the support, and is starting to move higher. Swept all of that liquidity. This is what I like to see. This is exactly what I was talking about in the last one. All right, we came down to this area of fair value, and we're starting to move up. All right, heading towards the liquidity target. So I am nothing but buys here. And if we go down to the weekly, again with that, the 4 hour, you can see it's got like these little baby teeth going up here. I'd be looking for an area right around here where these highs are, where there's obvious resistance. I'd be looking for a fair value gap of some kind around these areas so that price could pull back to it. And we can continue to seek higher pricing. All right, but with these baby teeth, I don't know what it's not really impulsive, right? It's not really impulsive with those little candles. I want to see big candles like that. All right, but I'm looking for price to come back to this area for a revisit, and then we can continue higher. We'll see what happens when it gets down there. But right now, this is looking a little extended, and I'd be waiting for a pullback of some kind. All right. If we go to the Swiss is doing its thing. Let me show you something on the daily. Look at that. Now look at the euro. Very close. Am I right? Am I right or am I right? The euro and the Swiss. I'm expecting the same exact analysis, right? What we can see is after an impulsive move to the upside to sweep liquidity here, we have this pullback into what this area of demand. What's really behind that area of demand? Let's look at a higher time frame, and we can see that price has tapped into this sell to buy area here, these wicks. All right, and you see the wick of respect that was given and the continuation to start the week right behind that. So I do like the strength and the momentum going up top. All right, now I also want to point out on the daily, there is a bullish fair value gap here. All right, that is established. So price could use that bullish fair value gap to seek higher pricing. Now, here's the deal. If the fair value gap does not hold, then I'll be looking for this, because these lows are a draw on liquidity. All right, and I would like to see that swept. And then support found here for a higher probability trade to the upside. Yeah, so there's two things to watch. the fair value gap, the price's reaction to it on the lower time frames. And if it fails, then we're probably going low, and there is profit to be made as price heads towards this low. Okay, there's no bullish fair value gaps to stop it. Okay, does that make sense? Good. I hope it does. All right, and the last one is the Japanese yen. All right, the Japanese yen on the daily. I told you, I mentioned that this move here, push higher and then a stronger sell-off, creating this area of fair value, that I would be thinking that price would come there to return back to it in order to seek lower prices. I said that looks bearish, but I told you that the COT report said that investors are bullish in this market. That's starting to play out, isn't it? It's become very obvious. Look at this candle here, which is Monday's candle. Bullish, 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 bullish. Did you notice that we are going right through a bearish fair value gap? That is a bullish indication in itself. All right, this gets eliminated. I also mentioned that I'd be looking at this high to be swept. It was swept on Monday. And as price is eating through this fair value gap, where are we heading? If price isn't offering fair value, which means it's disrespecting an opposing fair value gap, that means it's heading towards a liquidity pool. All right, it's heading towards a liquidity pool, and that's usually at highs and lows. All right, now there is an area of supply here. Let's not get it twisted. That's what we're butting up against right now. Why are we having trouble getting any higher past that point? Well, that's because there's a supply zone there. All right. Could price start to come down from that? Sure. Price could definitely come down from that and come after these lows. Come after those lows. Maybe all the way down. All right. Maybe. That's a big maybe. So what we're going to watch is the reaction to this area of supply, and we're going to bear in mind that the investors, the institutional players, are still bullish in this market. So we're going to watch to see if this supply zone holds. All right, this is the premium array that we're going to keep an eye on. All right, and are we going to go from premium to discount? This is a very good question. All right, that's it. That's my analysis. All right, I'm going to bear in mind that I'm going to keep those things in mind when it comes to the Japanese yen. But I just want you to see that the US dollar index is what's going to be the big one. All right, we are in supply right now. We are in demand here. This is a demand zone here. Okay, right here. Boom, boom, boom. I want to see if we make it out of this thing. If we make it out of this thing, then you know how to play the majors. You know how to play against its currency counterparts. If it continues bearishly, if it takes out this low and closes below it on a daily basis, then we can continue to, buy against a weak U.S. dollar. Okay, with the other currencies. I hope this makes sense. I hope you like the midweek report, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next video. And thank you again for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and make sure you subscribe if you want to catch my content fresh. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching again.